Welcome to the ETAP Data Collection System training. I am going to be talking a little bit about the two data collection systems that we use for this project, the HIV Housing and Employment Project. There is the tracking system and the REDCap system. We use both of these to collect data. The tracking system contains optional protected health information and includes the screening form, participant contact information, scheduling information, the early termination form, and most importantly for many of you, the encounter forms. The REDCap system is a separate system which is used to collect the evaluation questionnaires and the chart abstraction forms. It's also used to collect some of the more general aggregate data that we collect on a monthly basis, including information about site calls, about events that your site may be holding for participants as groups, and monthly aggregate data from your site. So not everybody needs to use both of these systems. Most people will be using the tracking system. So the evaluation staff will be using the tracking system to enter new participants and to schedule appointments for them, and to let us know if any of the participants are withdrawing from the study early. Interventionists will be using the tracking system to enter their encounter forms. On the REDCap side of things, this is primarily a system that evaluation staff will use. They'll use it to collect the evaluation questionnaires, the chart abstraction forms, the monthly calls, information, and the aggregate data. The general process is to start with a tracking system, to enter a screening form within the tracking system which generates the study ID that we'll be using to refer to the participant from then on. So before you can enter information in REDCap, you first need to go to the tracking system and get an ID, a study ID for the participant. If you accidentally do it in the wrong order and you're collecting information in REDCap using an ID that you've made up, or accidentally used a different ID, please email me at cachen@bu.edu. We can get that sorted out. But we want to do that as quickly as possible because the IDs are not site-specific. So if you accidentally use an ID that is then assigned to another site, we could have problems. So I encourage you to let me know as soon as you realize that there's an issue. So again, in general, you want to start with a tracking system. You can check for the study ID there. If the participant hasn't been entered, then an evaluation staff member will need to enter a screening form for them that will assign a study ID, and that study ID is what's used in both the tracking system and in REDCap. A brief note on confidentiality. So these two websites don't use the full project name or the project logo, the HIV Housing and Employment Project, because we don't want to have HIV out there just in case you happen to be using this somewhere in a more public location. So you'll see that throughout, instead of saying the HIV Housing and Employment Project, the websites use SPINS Housing and Employment instead.